for the stupidest name ever. It's the Tittle Tattle with Kickoff Kevin.
Kevin, good to see you again, buddy. Where did you spend your holiday?
I went and met the girlfriend's family for the first time in Alabama, Christmas weekend, and then went to Chicago for a few days as well.
What part of Alabama is our family from?
Haleyville.
Near?
Like, nowhere.
So,
middle of nowhere.
Combined, you may have to think about this for a second. How many total teeth did our family have?
Surprisingly.
12, about 12.
I can only make that joke because I'm from a toothless state too. I was with some, I went with my wife, who's a big OU fan, massive, and Jake Owen, who's a really good friend of mine, who is a diehard Seminoles fan, and his fiance, and we went to the bowl game, and we ran into some of the Oklahoma people, the athletic director's family and kids, and they were there, and they came up to me up in the box, and they were like, "Bob, what's up?" And I was like, "Hey," they said, "We haven't seen you since softball game," which when Oklahoma won the championship.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Dude, it's good to see you." And it was the AD's like son, daughter, and a boyfriend or something like this. And they're introducing. I'm like, "Boyfriend, son." I said, "Are you guys all brother, sister?" And he goes, "No, we're boyfriend, girlfriend." I was like, "Well, it could be the same. You're from Oklahoma." And we got a good laugh. And they said, "You can only say that because you're from Arkansas." That's right. That's correct.
You get a pass.
There's like a small group of us that can make fun of our hillbilly tendencies.
Like someone from New York can't
Could
say
not.
that.
I'd be pissed.
No.
Like, you do not call me a hillbilly. So
I can't say that.
you cannot.
Yes.
You cannot. How was it with the family?
It was good.
Did they like you?
Yeah, they really did. And everything went smooth, and I felt comfortable the whole time, and it went really well.
Did you stay the night at their house?
We stayed at her grandparents' house. They stayed at like they have a little vacation home that I talked about recently. And they stayed there with the family and two brothers, and then her and I stayed at the grandparents' house.
Did you stay in the same bedroom?
We did.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Did the parents know that?
I think. Yeah, but they didn't want to really admit it. He wanted us to stay there. Her dad did, and he was kind of hinting at it, but we were kind of like, it was like really cold in that house.
You'd been on the back porch, the back fenced-in porch.
Exactly.
Wait, and you didn't want to like please the dad and be like, yeah, we'll stay here.
I just said, hey, whatever you want to do,
It's a good move.
I'm with you. And she decided, you know what, Dad, we're gonna go stay over there. So I just followed her.
Wow.
You know what I did early in the relationship with Caitlin and I, with her dad, who is the most awesome dude ever. I think Eddie can vouch for that too. He's awesome. I wish I had something funny to say about him being
No, dude's
anything.
awesome.
He's awesome. But I sat at the head of the table and stuck my flag in.
In his seat.
I'm dominant
He's
here.
been sitting there his whole life.
Not at the house, but at restaurants and stuff. I'd purposely sit at the head of the table. And it first started as a joke, and then I was like, Caitlin would be like, "Stop sitting at the head of the table." And I'm like, you know what? I don't think I will. I don't
Watch
think I will.
this.
Far we can
And then
take
he's so
this.
awesome. He's like, yeah, it's fine. Have my daughter.
That's great.
And my seat.
Yeah, just have it all.
Exactly.
And you guys feel like you're closer after the trip?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, we spent a lot of time together the last 2 weeks. We were together, I think, 10 days in a row.
What'd you get her for Christmas?
I got her a few things that she needed, like some shoe organizers and a wine bottle opener that she needed, and then the big one that I
Send your brother
got,
those two to get her?
Yeah.
Just exactly.
Amazon,
Yeah.
and then the big thing I got was us to do like a food and like tour thing in Chicago that we did together.
Nice.
Yeah, that was the big one.
How much money am I paying you? God dang, man.
Mhm. No, he spent it all on her.
Oh,
yeah,
got it.
exactly. She got it all. Don't worry.
Got it. And did you tell her, did you use that L word?
We did.
Wow.
We did for the first time. Yes.
In Chicago?
No, it was actually on Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah.
In what town?
At her place in Haleyville.
Wow.
Yeah, the
That's
dad doesn't
amazing.
know
That's
that
big.
either.
And how long you been dating?
Since October, what, 3-4 months?
That's so quick.
Oh, man.
That's so quick. Wow.
That's cool, though. That's cool.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about my version of it.
Oh, gosh. Yours is
I
a long
waited
time.
39 or 39, 40 years. I never said it to anybody because I didn't love anybody. And then finally to my wife, I said it. But even then, I was like,
It
We even
wasn't.
wrote a
I
song
sounded
about
like,
it.
yeah, I sound like Latka.
It wasn't easy.
Taxi.
I don't mean like that, but you know what I mean. It's
You
just
weren't
like
naked, were you, when you said it? 'Cause
No,
it doesn't-
no,
okay.
no, no.
That doesn't count or what?
Not the first time.
No.
You can, it does count later, but the first time you can't be
I
like,
was not naked or drunk, so that's
Okay.
good.
good for you, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
You feel like, I don't know, it's a weird question to ask, but I'm going to ask, so do you feel happy or is it like a,
I do. I that feeling. It's not
Yeah,
really a
it's
feeling
only-
you can like describe.
yeah,
You just either
that's why it's
feel
like
it or
you
you
feel
don't.
happier. It's like you just kind of feel like there's a 6% of you that's kind of an addition that also is like, oh wow, this is good. It's
Yeah.
like I'm carrying a little something in my pocket. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
It's going really well, and yeah, I really like being around her. I enjoy company with her and it's going really great.
That's the sensitive tittle tattle.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the tittle tattle. All right, question 1, Kevin.
After 2 great games on Saturday, do you think this only solidifies the college football playoff expansion being the right move?
Yeah. I think it solidifies it that it's just so much fun to watch these games. And can you imagine all the players not sitting out because there were 12 teams that were playing? There's nobody hopping in the portal on these 12 teams until the game's over. There's nobody declaring for the NFL draft and sitting out the bowl games because they have a chance for the title. I think, one, it eliminates a lot of what's new in college football that is a bit annoying. I'm not saying bad, but a bit annoying. Is that when these bowl games happen, half the team's not there, or it's a new half of the team that's starting because some have left, some have gone to the draft. So I would like it for that reason, too. I like it because you have 12 fan bases that are just super pumped. And in. Eventually, it's going to be 16 teams. It's going to be like the NFL. There's going to be 18 games. There's 17 now. There's 18 weeks.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's going to be 18 games. And it's going to be 18 games over 20 weeks is my prediction. I've never heard that, but I think that's going to be it. You're going to have to add another bye week probably. But I just like more big games is more fun for big fans. That's just the it in all sports.
Yes, and more chances for teams to get in. Like I feel like after watching Tennessee and Clemson, Tennessee could have gone in. Like I think they could have advanced, even with the backup quarterback.
Because he was a starting quarterback last year.
Dude, he was great.
He was. Let me 4 words for you: Alabama.
Yeah.
They could have won the whole thing.
Absolutely.
So I stand by what I said before, where I think it's just more big games. It's just awesome. And I don't like the regular season is even more important. You see it in the NFL. It doesn't make it. It keeps it important for more teams longer because they're still in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I love it. Expand it. I know we're not doing it next year, but let's expand it the year after that.
Yeah.
They should just play some street games next year if they didn't make.
That'd be cool.
I was so glad there were good games, too, because recently, I think they were talking about it, 21 points is like the average win in the semifinals the last like 6 or 7 years. So, yeah, I thought it was great.
But I think, too, what's going to make it better, a lot of these, and you bring up something great with the 21 points, sometimes it happens because there's just so much time, right? There's just so much, there's 4 weeks before you play.
Yeah.
So there are all these variables that can happen in that time that make these games harder to predict. But yes, if you play the 16 game, you're going to have or 12 game, you're going to have a shorter time in between because you have to.
Yeah.
Because you got to get in a couple more weeks. So that keeps everybody a little sharper, keeps Christmas turkey from sitting so long.
Yeah.
Because once kids go home, once they get out of their normal, everyday patterns, things, good or bad, do change. It happens with us as well. I can't even say the word. What did I try to say there? Consistency, pattern? I don't know what
I
to
don't
say.
know. We
Exactly.
don't know what you were trying to say.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
I love it. Let's go. More big games.
All right. Which fan base do you think is more disappointed after that tough loss on Saturday, Michigan or Ohio State?
Man, they both are in the bums for sure. Probably Ohio State because it's tough though. Michigan's lost 6 in a row at bowl games with Harbaugh.
Yes.
But they also have beaten Ohio State now. I think they'd rather beat Ohio State and lose in the 4 than lose to Ohio State, win in the 4, but lose in the championship. I think they'd rather win a national championship regardless, but I'm going to say they would rather beat Ohio State and then lose like they did, than lose to Ohio State and win that first game but lose the title game. So I think it's a net gain for Michigan with Harbaugh being able to beat Ohio State. I think it's an easier situation for him to face going, I've lost 6 bowls in a row, or whatever the number is, then go, I've lost to Ohio State 6 times in a row.
Yeah.
You get fired for losing to Ohio State 6, 7, 8, 9 times in a row. You don't get fired for losing in the national championship Final 4. But yes, that does suck. But I'm going to go Ohio State because their fans are delusional, a little more so than Michigan fans. And they missed a kick that's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
That hurts.
I felt it too, like just college kickers don't experience that kind of pressure very often. And I felt like as soon as he walked up to that, I'm like, this cannot be good.
And they were talking about his grandpa was like a season ticket holder. Like he's a
It was like his dream
like,
job because he
no.
went to like North Carolina or Virginia or something, and they were like, he transferred in. This is his dream spot. And they were like, the kick. I mean, it was never on.
It never had a chance.
If it had a sound effect, it'd sound like this. Yeah, it sucked. So I'm going to go Ohio State. I think they expected more out of it. It would have been fun to see either them both win and play each other for the title or them both lose.
Yeah.
I feel like Michigan with TCU thought that they had a legit chance.
For sure. I think
An easy road.
Everybody did. I mean, including myself. Although I did bet TCU plus 7.5 at the beginning of the game. And I did that because I only thought they'd lose by 4 or 5.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, I really didn't think TCU would show up and win that game. But, man, they did. It's awesome.
Yeah, they did.
It's awesome. I hope they don't get beat 40-0 by Georgia.
Me too.
I don't think they're going to win. And I hope they have a respectable showing. I have not seen the line.
I haven't either.
Maybe if I were guessing, it's probably 12, somewhere around that. And I hope they lose by 6, 7.
Yeah, because they were 8 against Michigan.
Yeah, and you have to also think about TCU. They weren't ranked at the beginning of the season. TCU wasn't even in the others mentioned.
Yeah.
They weren't in the poll at all. Not top 25, not others getting votes. Their head coach, his first year coming over from SMU. Wait, SMU? No.
Yeah.
Is it SMU?
Yeah.
And so
Or Louisiana.
Huh? No.
SMU.
He came.
SMU.
He came from one of those Texas schools.
It's his first show back, guys. It's okay.
Thank you. Yeah, look him up. I'm pretty sure
The line's 13, by the way.
it is.
Nice.
13.5.
Whew. I know, and I still would like to take Georgia.
I
if
like
were
the
betting
horny
right
toads here,
now.
dude.
You do?
I like the horny toads.
I like them. It's tough.
Because, I mean, Georgia, too, looked. They looked. I mean, I expected them to dominate that game. I expected Georgia to dominate that game, and they didn't. So, to me, it seems like with all the momentum TCU's going into, dude, they have a legit chance here.
They do.
I mean, I really think.
Are you rooting for them?
I am from Texas, obviously, but I mean.
Are you rooting for them to beat Georgia?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not.
How cool would that be?
I'm not, but it would be cool. I'm not rooting against them. If they do win, I'll be like, that's awesome. I'm just an SEC homer, and I hate when the SEC loses even the national championship game. People go, "Oh, SEC, we told you overrated." We're like, dude, it's a national championship game. Shut up.
Yeah.
SMU, right?
SMU, yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, I'm gonna go Ohio State. That was my answer to that. But both are pretty bummed.
For sure.
Yeah. All right, next.
Do you think C.J. Stroud played his way into being the #1 quarterback for this year's NFL draft?
No, not at all. But I do think he solidified his probably top 7 overall, top 2 or 3. Yeah, they're going really high on Levis for some reason, and I get the reason. He's a big guy. He can throw. He's got all the tools. But, he's up and he's on the draft board at like number 4 and the second quarterback. And I guess I just don't know enough. But I mean, I've watched him play like 6 times this year. Maybe he just played with a Kentucky team that wasn't that great, and so he didn't look that good. Because if you don't have a good offensive line, it doesn't matter who you are.
Right.
But I thought Stroud played awesome. And he doesn't usually run. He ran. He showed he could run. I think he had his 2 longest rushes of the whole year in that game. So it made me go, oh, man, dang, C.J. Stroud, next level guy. It's good. So, no, not number 1. It's that Alabama game.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, the whole situation with that is, Bryce Young is not a big quarterback, but you don't have to be now because offenses run a little different. And he's still not really a guy who's but he's so good.
So good. He's unbelievable.
And if you listen to people that you trust, like I don't listen to every college football or NFL expert and just go, what they say is good. I have a few that I really trust. One is Orlovsky.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple other guys, and they're like, he processes the game so much faster than almost any other guy I've seen. So not only can he throw and is he a great leader, but he sees things and makes these quick changes. And so if that's the case, as good as he's played, and he did declare today, him and Will Anderson, that they're out, they're going to the NFL, which they should. He's easily number one pick. Yeah. But what sucks is these players that go number 1, number 2 overall, and they end up going to a team that's a terribly run organization. It's really hard for them to succeed because the organization is bigger than the player is. And
Bryce Young's going to go to the Texans. That'd be terrible.
Terrible. I mean, we're seeing finally in Jacksonville, it took the right coach in a system that isn't all the way broken because they've won a little bit, just semi-broken, and they're just now starting to be good.
Yeah.
With Trevor Lawrence. But imagine all the quarterbacks that went 1 to the Tim Couches, you could go down the list, that if they had just been on a halfway decent team, they'd have been great. But because they got put into a system, a coach, ownership that was awful. Carson Palmer, and he almost broke it.
Yeah.
But I always feel kind of bad for that. But then I remember they're making millions and millions of dollars.
And then you feel better about it.
It's all good. Yeah. Next question.
Going to the NFL, do you think the Eagles' struggles without Hurts is helping or hurting his MVP chances?
Absolutely helps. He will not win it, but he should finish second. Absolutely helps. Don't tell me now that he is just a system quarterback. He's a quarterback that actually makes that system. And there's a difference. They built that system around him. They didn't say, okay, here's our system, and you go and fit into it perfectly. He's not running a Texas Tech offense where you could take any decent quarterback and throw for 700 yards or an old Hawaii offense. That system was built on his skill set. And Minshew played pretty good in Dallas. We talked about that. Didn't win, but he played pretty good.
Decent,
he threw 2 picks,
Sure.
but still played decent, and then it was not good yesterday.
No.
Hurts should finish second behind Mahomes in the MVP, my opinion. But I think this does give him some credibility as he's the reason that offense does well, not the other way around.
I saw it when, they have the 4th and 1 quarterback keeper that is just unstoppable. And then with Minshew,
He didn't move.
He couldn't do that. And that was an unstoppable play for the Eagles all year. But with Minshew back there, not going to work.
Yeah, they were able to really shut down some of the things that Minshew was trying to do that he doesn't normally do, to be a bit like weeks
Jalen.
1 through 15.
Sure.
Like him running the ball. He can actually move a little bit, but he can't run the same that's needed to actually execute that type of offense like that.
Yeah.
But it all comes down to week 18, game 17 this week with the Eagles. If they win, they clinch. Will he play? I don't know. I don't know. We can get to that in a little bit. But yes, he's awesome. He should finish second in the voting to Patrick Mahomes, who is just amazing.
Yeah.
Still amazing. Everybody who doubted him, he's amazing. All right, next.
With the struggles in Philly and Minnesota lately, do you think the 49ers have emerged as the NFC favorite?
What's funny
He looks at me.
about Minnesota is they are still in the negative. I think they're like 19 or 20 points negative this year, meaning the teams they've played have scored more points than they have scored. And I believe it is the best record to that worst differential in the history of the NFL. The Vikings, I think their ceiling is winning a first-round game. Ceiling. I just don't think they win the second-round game. I don't even think they win the first-round game, depending on what happens to the draws. But I think that's their ceiling. They shut Jair Alexander, talk crap pregame about Justin Jefferson, said it was a fluke, and then shut him down. He shut down arguably the best or second best, maybe top three receivers in my mind. I'm not going to rank them, are Jamar Chase,
Sure,
Justin Jefferson, and you got to go over to Vegas.
Adams.
Because even though he's not able to do as much because he hasn't had he's still so freaking legit.
Yeah.
So those three of the guys, and Jair Alexander shut him down. I think he had 2.5 fantasy points.
Yeah.
I think after the first incompletion, he did the gritty on top of him. It's hilarious. But no, I don't think it's the Vikings. I think San Francisco is real. Man, Brock Purdy continues to do the thing, which is just show up and win, and you don't go out. Look at that rookie quarterback who didn't even get a start until 3 or 4 weeks ago. He doesn't have to do a whole lot, but he does exactly what's asked of him, which is even more than what should be asked of him, considering he's a rookie. It was the third string quarterback.
Yeah.
So if you're looking at the NFC, the 49ers, oh man, they're so good, and they play violent and angry. They're doing that without Debo too.
Yeah. You see McCaffrey run over.
Yeah, running over
man.
people.
Oh my gosh.
The 49ers,
That's frightening.
the Cowboys-ish. But I think, and who did you ask me the question? Because it's not Minnesota.
Philly.
And then Philly is up there, but it's hard for me to put them there right now without knowing the injury status with their most important player. So, but I'm gonna go San Francisco, Philly with Dallas like nipping at the heels of
Philly
that.
now, Philly or
Yeah, Philly now,
okay.
because I'd put Philly up there with San Francisco right now.
even after the loss to Dallas.
But they didn't play a full. It wasn't a team.
Yeah, but you're saying Philly now with
only because I think Jalen Hurts is going to be able to come back and
Okay.
be healthy week
So
one.
full strength Philly.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Not them with a backup quarterback.
Gotcha.
But that's also why I'm also penalizing them a bit
Mm-hmm.
because they don't have a full strength quarterback.
Sure.
So yes, San Francisco with a Philly halfway up into their spot, and then Dallas halfway up into their spot, and then Minnesota's. I'm not a joke because they have won games. It's the NFL. Just win games. That's all that matters. But I just can't see them winning a second round playoff game.
Like, what if they
Don't
face
either.
off against the Bucks? Are you going to take the Bucks over Minnesota?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great question, though. Great
Yeah.
question.
Yeah, I'm taking
You
the
know?
Bucks. I'm taking the Bucks over Minnesota, but they're not. The Bucks are going to end up playing the Cowboys, right?
I think
That's the scenario.
Yeah.
Because the
Bucks will play
Cowboys, the Cowboys aren't going to get the number one. There's too much that's got to happen here. We'll go through that.
We're out of time.
We got some.
Yeah, it's just too much has got to happen for the Cowboys to be able to do that. But yeah, that's my answer. It's San Francisco,
Okay.
but it's all close. Go ahead.
Okay, going to the AFC now. Playing much better as of late. Do you think the Chargers have emerged as an AFC contender in the playoffs?
Yeah, because they have some weapons that are back. Imagine if they had their full offensive line. But imagine everybody, right? Imagine everybody. But still, the Chargers they've had more attrition due to injury than most teams, especially star interior people. Tampa Bay's had some struggle there too. But where San Diego's been able to bounce back a bit is they've had
LA.
You're right. God dang.
No, I do it all the time.
What is
I do it
wrong
all
with
the
me?
time.
What has happened?
Dan Fouts, man, got you.
I wouldn't have even thought about it. I'd have been like, Phillip Rivers really going to do it this year, boys.
I do it all the time.
But they've had a rookie come in and actually play really well for them when their best offensive lineman went out. So I do think that San Diego, I think their ceiling is a second round win. I think that's their ceiling. They're not a team that can win the Super Bowl this year. They're a team that could win the Super Bowl next year. And I think just winning a first round game would be great for them because the Chargers, everybody expects the Chargers to suck and to lose. Oh, that's the Chargers. Da-da-da-da-da-da. But you got to change that culture. The Bengals have done that, and the Chargers can do that next. And how do you do that? With a quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
And with a defense. I'm telling you right now, you look into the secondary in San Diego, and you look back at their safety. He's about the baddest dude there is.
Mm-hmm.
Derwin James is awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets in trouble too because he hits hard and sometimes a little high in the head.
like on the helmet.
Yeah.
Like ejection.
Golly. He's awesome. Yes. So AFC. Here we go. Buffalo and Kansas City. I hope they're the two playing for that AFC in the AFC Championship for the Super Bowl just because I like that duel. I like that
game
rivalry.
would be amazing. Yes.
They've done it time and time.
Yep.
They did it this year. I mean, I just think that's our version of Brady and Manning. It could develop into that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But even that Brady and Manning wasn't Brady and Manning until they'd done it a few times. I just think it's fun to have that. They're both likable guys too. So
Yeah.
those are the two teams most likely. But Cincinnati is in there to pee in somebody's Cheerios, and so is San Diego. But I like it. San Diego, a real threat to actually win a game or two.
Okay, last one. Which late season 5-game losing streak has been more surprising to you, the Jets or the Dolphins?
The Dolphins, I guess because the surprises have been injury again, huh? Oh, he got a concussion, huh? He threw that many interceptions. He sucks. Oh, it turns out he had a concussion, huh? I don't know. It's just been kind of a soap opera and a sad one because now I'm not someone who does a lot of worrying in my personal life or like my heart about people I don't really know when it comes to professional sports when they get to make their own decisions. It's different if somebody's suffering and I hear about it, I don't know them. I do worry, and sometimes I try to be in. But Tua, I'm always like, is a guy making his own decisions, millionaire, who cares? Man, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's happening over and over and over.
Yeah. And I thought the first time, and I'm not sure who said it, it was like he just needs to worry about his life so he doesn't have a brain disease or so he doesn't. And I was like, shut up. You're just standing on your little soapbox on TV trying to. No, but it's like I feel that way too. And it sucks. And I hope if his life, he gets to choose it. And if he continues to play, go get him. I'm a big Tua guy. I like Tua a whole lot. I think Tua represents a lot of what I like to see in people, which is a great attitude, a great work ethic. Just show up and good things happen eventually. And that's him. And so I'm more surprised because it's just been kind of a soap opera there. The Jets, I guess I'm not surprised because I never expected them to be good anyway at the beginning of the year.
Right, they were bad.
Yeah, but good for them for actually having us be like, wow, a losing streak. Because that's an expected thing with the Jets. You know, I think Saleh's a good coach. I think whenever you lose your quarterback, what I mean, you lose your quarterback. Like, Zach Wilson's done. Not through injury. Like, he's done.
Yeah.
They're saying they're not going to shop him. Maybe they keep him as a backup all year next year. They don't want another team to get him to flourish. And it doesn't mean they won't shop him, but it's real bad. That game, I think it was against Jacksonville during the break on Thursday night.
Thursday night.
I don't know that I've ever seen a worse quarterback performance, meaning a quarterback who is still trying to perform and performing poorly. Sometimes you see quarterbacks that don't have it or the skill set, and the coach will just not let them do it. Malik Willis for the Titans earlier this season when he threw to 0 wide receivers and had like 3. Right? Like, that's not a terrible quarterback performance. It's a quarterback who they don't believe can perform, so they're going to make sure that he doesn't lose the game. Zach Wilson is awful.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for him because even early in the game, he'd throw an incomplete, boo. So I'm not that surprised at the Jets because of what I thought the Jets would be. And I was wrong because they actually played really well at the beginning of the year. They're eliminated, not going to the playoffs. But I think you could look at this season as ownership as going, all right, I think we believe in our coach because he was able to, win 7, 8 games with an awful quarterback situation.
Yeah, that defense is legit.
Defensively, did some things, and I think they really can be there. But I saw that they may want to draft Anthony Richardson and I'm like, no, stop developing quarterbacks. Go get Derek Carr.
Yeah, get someone that's experienced.
Get somebody that's a B- C+ guy.
Yeah.
Because imagine if you'd have had that this year, you'd have won 9 games. You'd be in the playoffs. How many games they win?
7.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm more surprised by the Dolphins. They can still get in. They still can get in the playoffs, though. They're playing their 9th-string quarterback. I think it's a guy that
Teddy's the same too. Like,
broke his finger too this week.
Every single time he gets a chance, he gets hurt.
You're right.